This video is made for adult collectors because I can hear my dog upstairs growling at the door. It's kind of funny. The only General Grievous figure I have is the Bandai model kit, the old Bandai model kit. But there you go. There's the two four-armed weirdos. Yay. This thing is real weird, like real weird, but I still kind of like it. It's not my favorite of the primes we've gotten so far, but he's still pretty fun and nifty. It's definitely on more of the unique side of Transformers designs, because like I don't recall us getting toys like this outside of maybe the movie line, but he looks very neat. Oh, this was bought at Robot Kingdom. Here's the box, not sponsored. What is sponsored is Try Treats. Epic transition. Try Treats is a snack subscription box service that delivers snacks once a month to your door from a different country every month. This time we got India, which made my family very excited because we're brown, India, you know, we're from India. I'm not, I was born here, but that's besides the point. My parents were very, very excited to try these snacks out.
Oh man, these are so good.
Now this is technically unfair. We get these here in Canada.
These are a little better flavor.
Probably.
Yeah. It's not as artificial. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, none of these snacks are surviving like the next 2 days. They're gonna be all gone. But if you want to get a box for yourself, you can check them out linked below. And if you use code THATTOYGUY, you can save a few dollars off your first box purchase. So check them out linked below. Thank you very much, Try Treats, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the actual toy. I have my issues with how this thing functions, but I'll get to those later. I love the freak of nature design that's going on here with the hunched back and the forward facing head, the forearms and the digitigrade legs. The colors aren't bad. He's using a gray that's like a shade or two darker than that unpainted gray we still see every once in a while, but here stepping it down a couple shades really helps. Not to mention I'm always a fan of seeing this mixed with a darker, more gunmetal shade, and the bits of yellow are a nice touch. He may not be the tallest Voyager, but boy is he wide in all directions, making up for his lack of height in how long his torso is and his forearms. Speaking of those arms, they work weird, and I don't know if I'm a fan of the shoulders being attached to the same point. I thought they were going to be separate, but they rotate at the same fixed point, and it makes posing him sometimes a little bit awkward. Not to mention my figure's shoulders are really tight, so when I rotate them, sometimes the top arms want to just come off their 5mm pegs. He is a weaponizer after all. The head looks pretty damn swish. I love how drone-like it looks with the one eye and the shockwave-esque head cues. It does come off, and inside there is the T-Cog, which I think that's kind of a funny storage spot. He also has these shoulder bits and a pickaxe gun thing, because the gun can come off and you can plug it into his hand. Due to him being a weaponizer though, you can rearrange the robot to fit whatever style of Amalgamus Prime you want. From having the head in a more natural place at the top of his shoulders, doing the TF1 design. God, I want toys of those primes, please. He has no thigh swivels. Granted, he has swivels here, and it's all above his knees? Knees? This set of joint. Is that a knee? I don't know. That part. So it does still kind of work like a thigh swivel, but it does make things a little bit more awkward, and there's definitely space in the actual thigh to fit a thigh swivel. It's just not there. It's a bit of a shame. With the other primes though, I am so glad this roster is being filled out. They look so great together. I can't wait for the last few. Posing weaponizers has always been kind of awkward because when you get them in and you're like, oh, I'm going to move this around, it will eventually just come off because these are on 5mm pegs. These are supposed to plug into other figures. That's inherently fine because I know that that's going to be like just a byproduct of the weird gimmick is, oh, I want to use the thigh swivel. And then, you know, if you yank on it in the wrong way, it's going to come off. That's just the nature of this gimmick. Because he has four arms and these shoulders are really tight, I find these come off like way too easily. The pegs are a little too short, I think, for what they're trying to do. Not to mention, one thing that is weird about this is, okay, we'll bring Lockdown back in for a second. He is a weaponizer, right? You can take that, but you can take bits of him off, right? And the cool thing about these bits is they have 5mm pegs on them. So I can bring Brawl in, right? And I can plug Lockdown's arm into Brawl's arm. And now he has an extra arm, right? That's really cool. However, Amalgamus, all of his are ports, not pegs, which I think is very strange because you take these limbs off, like all of them can come off. Now where do they go, right? You need a figure that has 5mm pegs sticking out of it. Like they just don't plug in anywhere on other figures. Like some of them can, like his foot right here, for example, has a 5mm peg. I can just go boom, and now that's there. But these don't have 5mm pegs on them at all. This one has half a 5mm peg, but not full one. So it becomes a little bit weird trying to get these limbs onto other figures. You still can, it's just strange. I need to put Lockdown's corpse back together. But yeah, back to the articulation. There's a lot. There is a lot going on here. That fell off. So to start with, the head is rather strange. You get your left and right on that 5mm peg. The 5mm peg is really shallow just because of how this is to fit in here. So if you're just rotating it from the top, it will come off eventually. You need to like hold it here and rotate it. But you do get rotation side to side. You get up and down, and then you get see, that came off. You get rotation back here as well. So there's quite a lot of movement in the head. It's just, you know, you gotta be careful. These shoulders, they spin at this joint here. So you get some motion there, really stiff. There is nice gear detail inside here. This top arm is on a hinge. You get a mushroom peg there. There goes that arm. You get a swivel here, you get a bend here, and then the wrist can rotate. It can come off. It can rotate, and then it can bend up and down. These pegs just love falling off on mine. It's a little annoying. The lower arm is pretty much the same story. You got your mushroom, you got your swivel, you've got the elbow bend, you've got the wrist and the wrist hinge. So like the arm articulation is the same between both. It's just the top ones on both sides, for some reason, these pegs, as you rotate them, they will just slowly come off. He does have a waist joint, and then, you know, a little bit of a backwards ab crunch just because of transformation. The hips, they can go forward that far, they can go back that far. Nice gear detail in there again. They can go out that far. They're very stiff. No thigh swivel, as I said. You do have a below the first knee swivel, and then you have another knee, then you have the ankle joint, and then you have ankle tilt. And one cool thing I noticed as well on these, look at all that nice gear detailing in here. I love like the little gear detail Easter eggs that are all throughout this figure. Like there's one on the bottom of the neck there too. It's pretty cool. But yeah, his articulation is okay. There's a lot going on here. It's a little awkward, and my copy's arms like to fall off. And that's just unfortunately the nature of the weaponizer gimmick. Sometimes you get copies of figures that are really tight and really well toleranced, like my Lockdown, and sometimes you don't, like this figure's top arms. In the end, I do like this robot, though I have my gripes with the shoulders and the thighs. I still think it's pretty fun and it looks nice. He is a weaponizer, and so that does mean there is a tad bit of parts forming, but that's fine. The rest of the transformation is interesting, if a bit awkward though. Okay, his transformation is weird. It's just weird. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take these off just because it makes things a little bit easier. They're gonna go back in the same spot in vehicle mode, but I'm just gonna remove them. So to start with, what we're going to do is take the legs and just make sure they're all like straightened out. Just get them like that. Then we are going to come to the back here and open these sections up. Then you want to take the head and you want to fold it down and then unpeg this giant chunk out as well. And then we're going to rotate the waist 180 degrees and bring it out. You want to fold the head in at 90 degrees. It will thoop into place, and then you take this whole assembly and it will just shove itself into here. Then you want to open this panel up, bring this section out, bring this 5mm port out, but don't fold it down all the way. Just leave it like that for now. We're just going to leave this here. The arms, we're going to bring them out so they're flat like that, and then rotate this piece around 180 degrees, this piece around 90, and you want to have the hands kind of situated like this, because these form a flat surface. So you do that on both sides like that. And then this will come under here and peg into this flap you folded down, and that will hold this back leg into place. The front leg will just swing wherever it wants to, but the back leg will stay in place. Get this all straightened out. I'm gonna actually rotate these this way so that the hollow bits are facing back.
And then you want to fish out the one that fell. I got it.
And then peg that into there. And there you have the 4 legs of the spider tank done. Now what we're going to do is bring this all the way up and then take the legs off. Then you want to bring this section down and it will peg into the hollow bits on the back of these panels here. Hi, it's me on the day I'm editing this because I did something wrong and I need to fix this part. So these legs, I took them off. You don't have to do that. Just rotate them around like this and then straighten the legs out. And this tab is going to go into that slot right there. So you just get that into place on both sides like that. This piece right here, you fold this up. This is going to go through here, and so what I have to do actually is open this up first, get this into here, and the reason why you don't fold this 5mm peg down is just because it's easier to get this gun plugged in like that. Then you fold that up, and then you get the leg down and pegged into place, and that's the spider tank. I had these on backwards in my original like footage, so I needed to fix that. They will be backwards for the rest of the video, but you know what? Here's me saying I fixed it. Yay. Spider tank thingy. Bro thinks he's Cyberverse Shockwave. It looks neat. I do like how it compacts everything into the central mass and then just has arms hanging out. I also dig how the stick becomes a cannon, though there is quite a bit of that stick sticking out of the back. Not much in the way of new detail is exposed in this mode. Actually, I don't think there's any new detail. I think it's all just the same from the robot mode, just in new spots. But it's pretty dense and holds together very well. But being a weaponizer, it does do other things, and the instructions do actually show you some different modes you can do for this, such as tiny jet, this tiny truck, this jet with a circle in the middle, this truck with a circle in the middle, and this tank thing. Though using the instructions configurations, the torso is just kind of left behind and does nothing. But it's a super involved package for a Voyager and does a lot, sometimes to the detriment of itself, but it is still fun to mess with. It's neat and interesting, and you definitely don't get bored messing with it. I'd recommend it, obviously, for completing the primes, but as a standalone toy, well, it's an interesting one, that's to be sure. But that's my look at Amalgamus Prime. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.